Hey everyone. I'm really excited because I have a new review platform that I'm going to be doing for you guys that I've been working on. I have been wanting to do this for a while, a little more graphically, but I haven't had the time to do all those kind of cool things just yet. But I wanted to present something moving forward until I can get all that stuff going. I've had a lot of feedback and good and bad, which is what I need. That way I can give you guys what you want to make a better, review show for you. That way you guys can relate and be like, okay, this is exactly what I want to hear and see. Um, this review is going to be a little bit longer just because I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that I have changed. One being the mic. I did make it a bit louder. I got a lot of comments saying there was a little bit of low tone, and I did see that, so I do apologize onto there. I'm still getting a bit of the echo, but I think the actual sound quality is going to be a little bit better. So if you guys have any suggestions regarding the echo, I've lowered it a little bit, but I still, on some points, am hearing that. So help me out. um, I still will be showing off, of course, my movie stuff. So I'll show that off to you guys because that's proof to say, hey, I actually did go see this. I'm not just some jerk that's going to write down and say, well, this looks like crap. And that's what everybody else is saying. So I'm going to say that too. I'm actually a huge fan of this series. I have the books actually with me here, and I'm halfway through The Gunslinger because I'm rereading the whole series, and this will be my fourth time reading it, and it's awesome. I'm a huge fan of Stephen King. He's my favorite author, so this one means a lot to me. Um, the music part, when I do the score, the soundtrack, was a bit lackluster, I felt, because I'm just sitting here talking about music. And I know the whole show is pretty much based on that for the review, that you guys actually have to listen to me, God forbid. But I thought I could do something a bit more creative. So what I did is in the slides that you'll see in the screenshots, I actually put a piece of one of the soundtracks in there. And what I'll do is I'll let you guys listen to about 5 or 10 seconds. I won't say anything, so you guys can know exactly what I'm reviewing as far as a movie point. So that'd be really cool for the score part. So I'm excited about that. Still doing the 4-star rating, and then also doing, of course, the Geek Out Moment, which I'm really excited about this one to do. So thank you guys again so much. The comments have been really helpful for me to progress forward. So let me just get this through so I don't take up too much of your time on this review of The Dark Tower. All right, so I'm starting with these little titles coming into it so you guys can know a direction where I'll be going with this. So for this one, the hit novel series misses far from its beauty. Now, a lot of you have probably been hearing, a lot of criticism about The Dark Tower. And, hey, I got a tweet. So it will go into a kind of directional thing. Obviously, I don't like giving out spoilers unless it's from actual the Geek Out Moment. So we'll just go into there. A lot of fans are a little bit 50-50 with this film, so I'll give you my take on that. So the Dark Tower story. So the best way that I can put the Dark Tower as a whole from the novel series, it's about this gunslinger named Roland and his journey, his destiny, his absolute goal to reach the tower. Nothing will stop this guy. And there's one person in his way to do that, or one being, as it will. He's known as the Man in Black. And there's a lot of darkness and creatures, and a lot of it's just so grim and so beautifully written. It really made me dive in and really fall in love with the writing direction and capture the image of how Stephen King writes. It's just absolutely beautiful. For the movie, for the adaptation, they capture some parts of that, and I think that's why a lot of fans are disappointed and maybe even like scratching their heads, going, "You guys missed out on a lot." They actually focused the movie on this child named Jake Chambers, who is in the novels, but their whole focus is Jake Chambers in this film. And Jake is a kid who is suffering from what seems like craziness. I mean, he wakes up from nightmares and thinking of towers and gunslingers and the Man in Black and drawing them and hanging up all over his wall. So everyone thinks he's nuts and crazy. However, he's not crazy. He's actually just gifted. And from there is where it starts off into the story from here. That being said, though, you gotta have the two biggest characters in this series, which is obviously the gunslinger and the man in black. As I was stating before, the best way that I can describe this duo and their relationship is almost like Batman and the Joker. I mean, the two together are amazing. Like, they have so much difference, but then so much alike. And it brings life, it brings depth to character itself. But when they're away, it seems like something's missing, which is a good thing. That means that there is chemistry there and it needs to build off. And that's one of my favorite parts about the series, next to the actual essence of the film, which is brought here. This is actually a piece of art from the graphic novel series. And it's really beautiful the way that it's written and drawn. So it's a shame that when you watch the movie, it's not portrayed that way. It's more like a wasteland type. And there are some parts where I could see where that does fit in, and that would coordinate to and capture in that type of atmosphere. But I would say probably the biggest disappointment is the tower itself. I mean, it's a huge part of the series, and although it is shown and it is beautiful, it's just not captured. It's not shown off the way that it's meant to be, especially with the CGI nowadays and the props and settings that they could have done. There could have been so many beautiful moments that they shown the Dark Tower and how it's meant to be portrayed. Now, going to the performances, I'm probably going to be a little critical only because of some limitations. I felt like the actors as a whole did very good, very, very good. But there's just such little tiny things, and I know they might be like, well, how can you really base it off that? But, as a fan, but also as a moviegoer too, these little things could have made a huge difference into it. Idris Elba as the gunslinger is amazing. Idris Elba is an awesome actor. I mean, the guy has played in so many films, and I'm a huge fan as well. As the gunslinger, as known as the gunslinger, Idris Elba did awesome. He portrayed this very rugged, devastating, dark, overcoming role. And he loved the character who he became. Now, as far as being Roland, the gunslinger, I thought it fell short of that. I don't know if it was, because of differences of the movie adaptation or just wanting it to be a bit unique. But, I mean, Roland is this badass. He is just awesome. He is destined. No matter what happens, he is going to take his ass to the tower. Nothing is going to stop him. No monster, no darkness, no man in black. He will get there. And it's very lackluster here. It's almost like it's slowed down. And probably the biggest disappointment for me, which may not seem that big to other people, is just the costume design. I mean, Roland is the gunslinger. He is the guy who wears the scarf, the coat. He has the bullets and, the vest and the belts and the guns. And I just felt that with this, it's like, where's the hat? The hat makes Roland. It's such a unique part to the character. And I thought, man, damn it, where is his hat? But that's just me. That's just my take on to it. Now, Tom Taylor as Jake Chambers, who we spoke about earlier, I thought this kid did really well. I mean, he really took over his role and really made it shine. The only thing that I thought really kind of, took it down a notch is I felt as soon as the other characters, I mean, these are big screen actors, Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, who we'll get to. As soon as they get onto the screen and they start getting really into it, it seems like his lines become very dull, and the emotion, the sheer uniqueness that he brings onto the film by himself really starts to die down. And it's not like like a sudden kind of die. It's a very drastic, and I think it's more noticed because they actually put more focus onto Jake Chambers as the main character. So that was a bit of a disappointment to there. Now here we go. Over here to this guy, Matthew McConaughey. Okay, so everyone's a fan of Matthew McConaughey. If they're not, it's because of probably those car commercials. But Matthew McConaughey as the Man in Black, I thought he did really well. He was actually my favorite of the three main, and I thought he did a really good job. Now, a lot of fans are like, well, this isn't the Man in Black we know. It's not demented, it's not dark, it's not graphic enough, we need more. Well, for the parts that were, I thought he did a good job. But I feel like, as I was saying at the beginning of the performances, the limitations kind of held it back. I mean, for an hour and a half film, and with a huge novel series that has spanned it over years, it's really hard to get a story and character development and chemistry working, and it was really difficult. So I thought for what it was good. It was good. The biggest thing that I felt like, especially for the Man in Black, really fell from is the rating. I mean, a PG-13 film for a Stephen King novel series is just, especially this one, it needed it. It needed to be more dark, more grim, more fierce. And there are parts where I felt like it was going to, but then it cuts and it stops. And then I remember it's PG-13. So unfortunately, that kind of fell short onto there. When these two guys here were together, it was beautiful, though. As I said, the Man in Black and the Gunslinger just have this connection of chemistry in their relationship, and the two actors really sold it. It was just awesome to see. It made me the biggest part of the film for me, reminded me of the novels, is when these two were together, along with some other things that I'll get to in the Geek Out moment. So that was really cool to see, and I would like to see them in at least something else again, because I thought they did really well together. So this here is the score. So I'll go ahead and do the volume here because I don't want to blow out your guys' eardrums. And I'll let you guys listen in on to one of the pieces from the score here. If I can get this thing rolling. Here we go. Okay, so here is the soundtrack for The Dark Tower. Now, I thought the music was really, really awesome. It fit so well with the action and the drama and the parts where it was intense and very grim. I felt the composer did awesome in capturing that. And Tom Holkenberger, as known as Junkie XL, I've never heard of him up until here. He's probably done some other stuff, but I did read an article and listen to an interview of The Dark Tower and how he captured it. He actually spoke with Stephen King and was reading some of the novels to really capture the essence of the film as the novel series. So that was really cool when people go out of their way to do stuff like that, especially when this has a huge fan base. So I thought the score was very good. I just wish on some points, especially with the Man in Black, there was either no sound or somewhat of a grimmer tone, because when he comes on stage it's supposed to be this very dark, and just Matthew McConaughey's performance alone, I thought that carried enough to where it didn't need the overpowering orchestra in the background. So that being said, guys, I'm going to give The Dark Tower 2 out of 4 stars. As a movie, as an action movie, as a fiction, novel based, a movie alone, it's a good movie. If you are wanting to watch an action film, I recommend it. It's definitely good for a Redbox night, especially since it's only an hour and a half long, so it won't take up too much of your time. However, as a film adaptation to a novel series that has spanned years and has so much depth to give, it really does fall a bit short. I really think they would have benefited truly if they wanted to go all out to make it a lot longer and to give it an R rating. If not, I really think they could have just taken the Dark Tower universe and used it. They could have made another Gunslinger and had the Man in Black still in the background, but just not follow the main character. The main character could have followed. I really hope this series does get picked up either by Netflix or a huge, TV network, because it really deserves it. If not, just follow what Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings did. I mean, they did so well to be patient and take the big things and make great movies from amazing novels. So thank you guys again so much. I know this was a very long video, but I did want to get everything out that I could. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, it'll finish off here. Please like and share and comment. Always could use those comments. Thank you so much for your support. I really love doing this. See you guys soon. Okay, so now we're going to get to my favorite part, the Geek Out Moment. So, as I stated before, I'm a huge fan of the series. I'm reading it again, and I'm really looking forward to getting into books 3 and 4 because those are, for me personally, my favorite. Excuse me. And so, you would think that since I've been talking so much about this rivalry and the chemistry, that the two together would be like the best, right? That this would be like the scene that I want to talk about. But actually, it isn't. My favorite part was when Jake and Roland are together and they're walking around the forest and they see what's left of what seems like an old amusement park. And Jake points that out to the gunslinger Roland. And they fall asleep and Jake starts hearing these noises, so he goes towards them and he sees that it's actually his father. And obviously we know, hey, his father is gone, so this got to be something crazy. Well, it's obviously, the darkness overcoming. And we see actually one of the creatures, which was like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I want to see. And it was just so good. They did such a good job with the monster and the darkness coming out of and chasing Jake. And then obviously Roland, finally, Idris Elba being the badass that the gunslinger is meant to be, unloading his gun, putting the bullets in, just rolling it as a cross, being smooth as hell. And it just looks really good. And then, of course, Roland finish off the creature and then seeing that there's more darkness coming through. Like, that whole part really made me remember why I love the series so much. And I was hoping for more of that. Once I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is gonna get really good if it portrays that. But it's the only part of the film where it does do that, and I was just really wanting more. But I was happy to see it. So hopefully, as I said, this will get picked up and we'll soon see it. I hope they don't rush it though. There's no rush. I'll read the books. I'll enjoy it back again. And thank you guys so much again for listening. My next review won't be as long just because now you guys get it. Please comment, like, and share. It really means a lot that you guys are watching these. I really love doing them. Thanks so much, and you guys have a great day. Take care. Bye.